Good evening and a very warm welcome to Radio and Television Tonga news package for this evening. Making headlines, a 7-year-old boy has died during the weekend in Ha'ateho following a gunshot by his little 4-year-old brother. Tonga Geological Services confirms no alert regarding the discoloration along the northwest coast of the Nuku'alofa volcano in Vava'o. And growers of the Houma village were ecstatic to host the Australian High Commissioner on an inspection event to their plantation last Saturday as a result of benefiting an Australian-funded Project Pirates. Now for the stories in detail. Parental carelessness has caused the tragic death of a child. A 7-year-old boy was shot by his 4-year-old brother last Friday in Ha'ateho. This was confirmed by the Deputy Police Commissioner, David Vailea, as he says that the 4-year-old shot his brother with a .22 rifle gun. Vailea adds that the 4-year-old and his brother were bladed with the gun inside the vehicle as they went with their mother. It is understood that the two boys were unaware of how dangerous the firearm is and that it was loaded. The 7-year-old was then rushed to the hospital, but it was too late. Police arrested the father, a 40-year-old man from Ha'ateho too, and charged of not keeping the firearm at a safe place and possession of unlicensed ammunition. Police continues investigation. The Ministry of Land and Natural Disasters has confirmed that there was no alert regarding the discoloration along the northwest coast of the Nuku'alofa volcano. Alice Tupo will tell you more.
Many people on social media have expressed their concerns after photos of the discoloration went viral. However, the Ministry of Land and Natural Disasters have clarified that this is a result of sulfur deposits and is a common occurrence. The images were reported on the 2nd of September by marine biologist Karen Stone and her research team from the Vava'o Environmental Protection Agency, or VEPA, mapping the marine life and reefs in the area. The Nuku'alofa volcano is 75 kilometers away from Vava'o and is 2.5 kilometers in width, 210 meters high and 1,000 meters from the seabed. The Ministry of Land and Natural Resources says that the volcano hasn't been active since 1791. Reporting for Radio and Television Tonga News, I'm Alice Tupo.
Parliament deliberations resumed this morning following constituency visit in the past week. We'll join Mark Ake with the latest update from the Whole House Committee's deliberation today.
During the Whole House Committee's deliberations in Parliament this morning, the People's Representative of Tongatapu 2, Dr. Langifasi, raised concerns about deportees and called for clarification on actions taken against them overseas before they are deported back to Tonga. He says it is important that these individuals be treated with special care as they are deported from overseas by ensuring that they don't feel like a problem, but rather make them feel like they are part of Tongan society. The Prime Minister, Honorable Huakavame Liku, spoke on the issue and said that since the border closures, the transport of deportees came to a halt. But now, since borders have reopened, foreign countries have contacted him to resume the deportation flights, and the government is also looking at ways of rehabilitating offenders to make sure they don't commit crimes again. The government is also working with countries to help offenders before they are deported back.
The Ministry of Health has released a clarification behind the reason of young children's death in July and August this year, as a lot of false and unrealistic accusations have circulated on social media. Mark Ake again with the detail.
The Ministry of Health stated via the social media page that none of the deceased tested positive for COVID-19 following routine COVID tests for all hospital admissions. A total of 7 children from the ages of 4 and under reportedly died between July and August. The ministry reports that the 8-year-old baby died from meningitis, 2-year-old died from sepsis, a 3-year-old died from West syndrome with severe sepsis, another newborn baby died from severe respiratory distress from meconium aspiration, a 2-year-old died from severe multiple injuries from a car accident, a 4-year-old died from a brain tumor, and a 3-month baby died from a tumor. The last 2 deaths were in Vava'o. According to the Ministry of Health, the causes of death are life-threatening conditions with a high fatality rate.
During the weekend, Her Excellency Rachel Moore, the Australian High Commissioner to Tonga, visited Homa village in the western district of Tongatapu to inspect plantations of the growers of the village, whom will benefit from an Australian fund project, the PIRIS. The PIRIS program is the Pacific Islands Rural and Agricultural Stimulus Facility in collaboration between the International Fund for Agricultural Development, or IFID, and the Australian Government Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade to support economic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic in the Pacific and the recovery from the Tonga Ha'apai disaster. It also supports COVID-19 food system and economic recovery by prioritizing food self-reliance, improving local nutrition, and developing sustainable, equitable agricultural livelihood opportunities for rural communities. And the project targets to benefit 20,000 households across the Pacific countries, including Tonga, Fiji, Samoa, Vanuatu, and the Solomon Islands. On that development, 62 communities here at Tongatapu, Ha'apai, and Ewa that have been affected by the recent Tonga Ha'apai volcanic eruption and tsunami were supported by the PIRIS program, including the Homa village. Speaking to Radio Tonga News, Secretary of the Village Council, Saya Penitani, says the noble estate of Homa, Lord Vaya, brought up the idea of having an inspection event as a follow-up on the assistance program. He says the PIRIS supports the village in establishing cluster farms, supports smallholder farmers' plantation, establish a large demonstration and multiplication plots, supply fencing materials and good quality seedlings and planting materials to smallholder farmers, provide land preparation to smallholder farmers, and provide extension advisory to smallholder farmers through various means, including farmer-to-farmer exchange. Meanwhile, the growers were awarded with cash prizes for their effort, with Lamunai Aha winning Best Plantation for the individual category, while Mailo Kava Club winning the Best Overall Farm Plantation. Homa is not only the village to benefit from the program, where the PIRIS project is set for a 4-year term, 2021-2024. However, Moti Tonga Trust is the implementation agency of the project, funded by IFID. And as of this morning, this good result appeared during the trial of fishing giant squids in our waters. It is clear from the CEO of Fisheries, Dr. Nuku'alofa's explanation that during gold season, there are many giant squids in our waters. Halafihi adds that the reason why this idea was brought up so the fishermen can move to reduce the numbers of red snappers in our waters. Alice Tupo takes up that story.
Red snapper is a source of income for many local fishermen and their families when they export this fish overseas. The Ministry of Fisheries and the SPC of New Zealand is working together in a project to support the local fisheries. We worked together with the SPC in this project since 2018, and we discovered that there are many giant squids in our waters. So we started fishing this type of marine species, and it appeared that there are good results from it. The resources we used to fish giant squids wasn't enough, so we requested resources from New Zealand under this project for more equipment. Dr. Halafi says that giant squids have been fished from our waters and can weigh up to 25 kilos and even more than 30 kilos. Nylons or wires are used to fish giant squids in the areas in the ocean that are approximately 500 kilometers deep, or more than 1,000 as giant squids live in the deep sea. According to a survey, any fisherman is free to fish giant squids in our waters. In the meantime, we don't allow foreigners or give them any licenses to do this type of fishing in our waters, but we give this opportunity to Tongans only. We also support local fishermen to carry out this type of fishing by shipping containers of equipment for them to utilize. Dr. Nuku'alofa says that many stores have imported giant squids from overseas, and the work they are doing will make it possible for local squid to be sold. Due to many fishermen who fish marine species from the ocean due to climate change and overpopulation, the Ministry of Fisheries carried out a survey of new and different fishing methods the country can benefit from. This includes the breeding of marine species in the ocean, such as pearl, sea cucumber, and fish, to help nature breeding in the sea. Reporting for Radio and Television Tonga News, I'm Alice Tupou.
Before we part, here's one final look at today's top stories. A 7-year-old boy has died in Ha'ateho during the weekend following a gunshot by his little 4-year-old brother. Tonga Geological Services confirms no alert regarding the discoloration along the northwest coast of the Fonualei volcano in Vava'o. And growers of the Homa village were ecstatic to host the Australian High Commissioner on an inspection event to their plantation last Saturday as a result of benefiting an Australian fund project, the Paris. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for your company. I'm Vaifamato Pola. Good evening.